Like the video! Or else. Okay, a new episode of Moonknight dropped, and with it, a new host of emotions I went through. So I've made the decision that from here on out, I will review each episode individually when they release. And then I'll rank the episodes as well as give my overall thoughts on the show once the season finale drops. This should be a fun little experience, as well as giving me some time to freshen up on my reading and writing skills. Anyway, this video I want to start off on the cons, and then end it with what I liked, since the last video kinda devolved into being negative almost by accident. Anyway, stop me if you've heard this one before. Marvel wants to make a story that's thought-provoking and
#Dave.
but they end up making something that is ultimately cookie cutter and very samey. For example, they tried to make the villain militia group and Captain Falcon interesting and thought-provoking by giving them an ideology that one can sympathize with. While being extreme and radical, you can at least understand why they feel the way they do. You can even sympathize with them. But then Marvel ends up screwing it up by making one of the characters do something cartoonishly evil and twirl their mustache, while even their friends say, "Whoa man, too far." So it's a bit justified for the main character to beat them up and throw them in jail. Remember I said a second ago that they give an ideology to the villains that make them more sympathetic? Well, not this guy.
I am the Cumlord.
So, good on them, I guess, for moving that. Now it's just an uninteresting bad guy and a story that could be handled better by the Netflix team. Okay, I can feel the anger already, so let me explain that one. I think Marvel has this certain cinematography that does not work well for a story as dark and serious as the character like Moon Knight. I'm not saying there can't be any comedy and that it needs to be dark all the time, because I'm not even just talking about dialogue or writing. I don't even just mean lighting or the way that it's positioned, the way the camera's angled. I mean the thing as a whole, the entirety of it. I'm going to show 2 clips from Marvel's Disney Plus, and then 2 clips from the Netflix Marvel series. I hope they convey what I mean.
Where is she? It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Buy me some time.
Back into that. Go!
See, there's just this weird way it's filmed. It makes me think they never got past that awkward porno phase that the first Avengers movie had. Come to think of it, the only show that didn't have this problem for me was WandaVision. And that's only during the Wanda parts, because outside of the Hexagon, it's just another boring Marvel thing. Maybe the universe, whatever the fuck the movies take place in, just has a weird filter over it that makes everything feel the same, no matter how realistically the tones should be different. Actually, while watching clips from the two to compare, I think I figured it out. It's more so obvious in the first two clips, so we're going to take a look at those. You see, the main difference that caught my eye initially is just how far a few blood splats go into making the scene more believable. Like, when Kingpin gets hit in the nose, he gets a nosebleed. When he gets hit with the right hook, blood splatters on the painting. Feels like an actual hit. Whereas, when we take a look at the Falcon scene, there isn't even blood on the shield until after the cut. Look. He's hitting him. The final hit happens, not even a drop of blood on the shield. It's not like seeing a blood splatter is gonna up the rating, I don't think. At least at a little bit, like these people are getting shot in the Moonknight episode, and there's no blood at all. Also, Mark and Khonshu are so dumb. Why didn't they just have him roll up his sleeves? He clearly has his sleeves rolled down this time. You've only ever seen him with his sleeves rolled up. This whole thing could have been avoided. Anyway, on to the positives. There's a few new ones. First, everything I complimented on the first two episodes is still here, and I love them for that. Let's move on to the new ones now. I love the distance Mark tries to keep between him and his wife. Knowing he's trying to protect her in his own way and struggling to keep up the facade, you can even see the hurt in his eyes before he represses it into a cold, glossed-over stare. And on the opposite side of the coin, Stephen Grant, who again, I'm amazed at how well Oscar Isaac goes from an American with a commanding, scary voice and is very physically imposing, into a polite British pacifist who's very non-physically imposing, all just by body language and how he presents himself. It's very interesting. I enjoy it. It even gives some good laughs, like when Mark and Steven played Kerplunk. It also plants the seed, this episode, for Mark's third personality. You see, when Mark and Steven are fighting each other for the body, a mysterious, unknown personality at this moment.
Dude, it has to be Jason Todd. Told ya, Jason Todd.
Takes over the body and ends up massacring quite a few people. Personally, I'm super excited to see where they take this one. I don't know about you, but I want to know how many personalities they're going to realistically be able to portray. As far as I knew, Moonknight has 4 or 5. It'll be very interesting to see him portray at least 3 to 4 of them, if he can. We saw all the other gods' avatars in this episode, wasn't personally interested in that plot point. Even at the end, when the consequences are all said and done, it didn't really matter to me, other than what it means for the character going forward. I have a theory, so spoilers ahead. In this episode, Khonshu gets sealed away, and Mark presumably loses his powers for now. Maybe this will be how the story makes up for him having supernatural abilities. It'll probably add some sense of danger, since up to this point he's been practically immortal. He's been getting stabbed and punched, really run through the ringer left and right, and this could be one way to nerf him a bit. Who knows, maybe he'll have to make his own makeshift Moonknight costume. That'd be pretty cool, something that looks more similar to the spandex he wears in the comics. At least until he can rescue Khonshu. Now that I think about it, actually, I know they won't do this, but stick with me. What if, at the end, Mark decides he doesn't need Khonshu to embark on his mission? He continues to be Moonknight, and he continues to work for Khonshu, but Khonshu, he'll still be in prison, he'll still be locked up. He can't speak to Mark, and he won't be able to constantly threaten Mark in the ways that he's been doing in this episode, or in the previous episodes as well. This would be, in a sense, a way that Mark could be protecting Leia from making a pact with Khonshu, because that's been something stated that he is doing and is why he actually isolated himself from her. They won't go that route, but it would be interesting to see at the very least. I really like how Steven has a massive crush on Layla, because in his eyes, she's perfect, and it kind of makes me feel bad for him in a way. Let's see. I like the CG better. Maybe it's because Khonshu is closer and not moving as fast, so they spent more time on it. But it just looks better. I thought this was funny. Overall, this episode was just a bit better than the last one. There were more flaws in this one, but I think the story is picking up for the slack so far. I'm excited to see where it goes from here because the bad guys already found the site to dig at. They already know where Amit is, now they're just digging. And we have to see if Mark will get there before they're done. Like, will they get there? He'll be too late. He'll probably be in the nick of time, just right before they open the tomb, and then the bad guy will be like, "You're too late, Moonknight," but he won't actually be too late because the coffin's not open yet. It really makes me hope the whole season isn't about this one thing. Other than that, though, I hope this series continues to keep me guessing. There were a couple of moments in this episode I didn't see coming, and I will give them that. Stay tuned for the next video, and see ya.